For today's class, we're actually going to start standing. And we're going to start standing off of our mat. So it's up to you. You can stand behind it or off to the side. But we'll take a moment before we step onto the mat and just to kind of notice how we're feeling. Maybe notice if the breath is flowing easily. Maybe notice if you're annoyed that we're not starting on the mat seated or on our back. And then I'd invite you to step onto your mat mindfully today. Noticing when you step, what part of your foot touches the mat first? And is that the same on side two as you bring the other foot to the mat? And then if you take the feet up to the top of the mat, finding a Tadasana, and just noticing if they anchor into the mat through all four corners, or if it might help to shift the weight forward and back or side to side. Knees are soft. As you inhale, sweep the arms up tall. As you exhale, hinge from the hips. One dive down, forward bend. Relax your neck, gentle nod yes or slow shake no. Inhale, lengthen the back, head moves away from the hips. Exhale, bend the knees. Inhale your way up to a chair, and we'll go right through the chair, finding our way back toward Tadasana, mountain pose. Take a little shake. Maybe notice if things feel a little different. Re-ground through those 4 points of the feet. And we'll do the same thing once again. I'd like you to notice this time if your weight shifts and how it shifts through the feet as we move. When you find it, inhale, scoop and gather up. Exhale, hinge from the hips, one diving down. How's the weight in your feet here? Did it move to the back or to the toes? Maybe relax the neck. Exhale, bend the knees a little, lengthen the head away from the hips. Where's your weight in the feet now? And what would it feel like if it was through all four corners? Exhale, bend the knees, deeper hips move back. Inhale to chair, where's the weight? And then come right up through chair. Exhale, bringing it down. And take a little shake, take an adjustment. And then we'll do that one more time. This time we'll see what happens if we keep grounding through those four corners evenly the whole time. Even if it means our forward bend doesn't go as far, or our chair looks a little different. How does it feel to keep connecting through all four corners the whole time you lift the hands up? Exhale, hinge from the hips, four corners of the feet the whole way down. Four corners as you nod or shake. Soften the knees, four corners of the feet as you lift the head away from the hips. Can you stay connected through all four corners when you find chair? In chair, we naturally shift the weight back to the heels, but what would it feel like? What would it look like if you stayed connected through all four corners? And then inhale it all the way top. Exhale down to mountain. Nice work. Take a couple of steps, take a little shake. Staying grounded evenly through the feet. And then we'll prepare to move toward a variation of sun salutation. Use the inhale to float and lift. The exhale to hinge and fold. The inhale to take the head away from the hips. The exhale to soften down. Bend the knees, big step back, right foot. Float the right knee to the mat. Use the inhale to take you up for a kneeling lunge. The exhale takes you down to frame the foot. Slide the foot back to find all fours. We use an exhale to round for cat. Then inhale to arch for cat. Let's do that again. Exhale to round. Inhale to arch. One more each way. Toes curl in underneath. Exhale, shift and lift, downward facing dog. Pedal in, bend one knee and the other. Inhale, take the right heel up. Exhale, bring the knee to the nose, the foot between the palms. Let the left knee find the mat. Inhale, sweep it up tall, kneeling lunge. Exhale, fold, weight to the right foot. Connect all four corners. Then floating the left knee up. And as we step up, we'll explore if we press a little weight into the hands. Does that help us float that left foot? Kneading in forward bend. Relax the neck, gentle nod yes or slow shake no. Exhale, bend the knees, belly button to spine. Inhale to your chair pose, Utkatasana. This time, shift all the weight into the heels. See if you could float or wiggle the toes. Then inhale it all the way up. Exhale, Tadasana. And take a shrug of the shoulders, any adjustments you need. And then settling into your mountain pose. Next inhale takes fingertips top. Exhale, hinge from the hips, swan dive it down. Relax the neck and forward bend. Exhale, bend the knees, big step back, left foot. The left knee finds the mat. Inhale up, kneeling lunge, maybe a mini back bend. Exhale, hinge and fold, frame the foot. Slide to all fours. Exhale, round for cat. Inhale, arch for cow. Then yogis twice this time. You can stay with cat-cow or slide the hands out. And we'll move this to puppy. Inhale toward baby cobra. Exhale to puppy. Inhale, baby cobra. One more float. You choose. Maybe it's cat-cow. Maybe we're staying here with puppy and cobra. And then we'll meet back on all fours. Curl the toes under. Find an inhale with a cow shape. Exhale, shift and lift. Downward facing dog. Pedal in for a moment. Press the mat away with your palms. Then inhale, left heel high. Exhale, knee to nose, foot between palms. Right knee finds the mat. Inhale, sweep it tall, maybe a mini back bend. Exhale, hinge and fold, frame the foot. Press into the palms, and as you do, float the back knee. If you press into the hands, can you help float the foot? Step to forward bend. Relax the neck. Gentle nod yes or slow shake no. Exhale, bend the knees. Inhale your way toward a chair. This time, bring all the weight to the toes. Maybe you can even float the heels for awkward pose. Can you breathe? Then inhale it all the way tall. Exhale, releasing down. Finding your mountain pose. Pause in mountain. Feel free to take any wiggles or shakes that you need. And then we'll explore reconnecting through the four corners of the feet. And then I'd like you to notice the hips. Maybe we take a little tuck of the tail and a tip of the tail back. And just notice if you can find neutral. A place where the low back feels long Nice. Roll the shoulders back from the ears. Lengthen up from the crown of the head. Explore shifting your weight now to the left foot. Float the right knee. Maybe noticing how balance is today. And when you exhale, settle those right toes to the back of the mat. Finding your high lunge. A deep breath here. As you exhale, hinge from the hips, fold to frame the foot. Spin the right toes out to the side. We'll inhale it up for our warrior two. Taking a breath here. Maybe exploring if the feet need a little length. Then inhale, lengthen the leg and bring the left toes over to point to the long edge of the mat. Exhale, take the hands to the hips to start. We're going to give the spine a little side bend here. So your choice, we can just keep hands on the hips and find a I'm a little teapot style tip. If it feels good, we'll inhale our way up, maybe taking the opposite arm up and over. Inhale, tall. Exhale, up and over. We'll go one more each way here. Just noticing with this wide base with the feet wide, how this supports your side bend, maybe how it challenges the side bend, and just noticing where the weight is in your feet. Is it all in the heels? Does it all go to the inner corners or the outer corners? And when you're ready, we'll spin those left toes back to the top of the mat. Inhale, find your warrior two. Let the right hand sink, lift the left up for reverse warrior. Can you breathe here? Inhale, back, warrior two. Exhale, settle forearm to the thigh, lengthen the right arm up and over. Extended side angle. Inhale, back, warrior two, finding length. Exhale, sink the back arm, float the front. Inhale, warrior two. Exhale, extended side angle. Once more each way. Settle right hand down, floating left arm up. Finding warrior two. Settle forearm to thigh. Maybe this time you try floating the arm or even reaching with it to help keep the core engaged. Inhale back, warrior two. Exhale, cartwheel down, frame the foot. Slide or step back, all fours or high plank this time. Exhale, shift and lift, downward facing dog. Pedal in. Yogi's choice. If you'd like to rest, bring it down, find child pose. There's time enough for 3 vinyasa flows if you'd like them. Inhaling to plank. Exhale, knees, chest, chin. Warrior chaturanga. Inhale to cobra or up dog. Exhale, down dog. And take your time. Always okay to mix and match a flow and a rest. And if there's anything else your body needs, maybe a little circle for the wrists, maybe your neck needs length, take time to address those things too. And when you're ready, no rush, no hurry. We'll start to make our way back to meet on all fours. Toes curl in underneath. Exhale, shift and lift. Downward facing dog. Pedal in, bend one knee and the other. Yogi's choice. We can step, walk, or we might bend the knees and look between the thumbs and take a hop or two to the top of the mat. Relax the neck when you land there. Gentle nod yes or slow shake no. Bending the knees, shifting the hips back behind. Inhale your way to warrior chair pose. Maybe floating the right foot. Maybe floating the left foot. Anchor through the feet. Inhale it tall. Exhale, find Tadasana, mountain pose. Adjust anything that needs it. And then we'll anchor evenly through the feet. And I'm going to spin around so it's a little easier to see here. Starting to shift weight now to the right foot. Loading the left knee up. Reaching the left toes to the back of the mat. Inhale your way up for that high lunge. Taking a moment. Exhale, fold to frame the foot. Spin the back toes out. Anchoring the foot. And inhaling your way up toward your warrior two. Adjust the feet to where they're comfortable. Next inhale takes it tall. Go ahead and bring those right toes over. And let's meet back in wide legs. I'll give the back a little more attention here. So we'll explore a gentle twist upright from this shape. And you might just rest hands on the hips. We'll try to keep the hips relatively still. They're going to go with us a little bit. We want to make sure we don't torque or twist the knee when we do this. It's more of an experiment and exploration than trying to twist as far as you possibly can. When you exhale, take a little twist toward one side. Inhale back to center. Exhale, try that little twist towards side two. And maybe just noticing where it feels like most of that motion comes from. Hopefully that's the thoracic spine, and maybe the neck, the cervical spine. Then the next time you go into the twist, you might explore just taking one hand across in front, the other hand across behind, noticing how that supports the shape. Inhale back to center. Maybe we'll just try that with the arms to side two. Then inhale back to center. This time we'll take the fingertips up tall. Exhale, hinge and fold, wide-legged forward bend. Prasarita Padottanasana. Relax the neck, gentle nod yes or slow shake no. Take a moment to settle and soften. Then spinning the right toes back toward the top of your mat. Use your inhale to cartwheel it up for warrior two. Now let's explore sinking the left hand, raising the right arm. Reverse warrior. Inhale to warrior two. Exhale, send forearm to thigh, find extended side angle. Inhale to warrior two. Sinking the left arm, raising the right, reverse warrior. Inhale to center. Forearm to thigh, extended side angle. One more each way, maybe if it feels comfortable. Inhale, warrior two. Exhale, extended side angle. Then find that warrior two one last time. Exhale, cartwheel it down. Frame the foot. Deep breath in. Exhale, slide or step back, high plank or all fours. Exhale, shift and lift, downward facing dog. Pedal in, bend one knee and the other. Yogi's choice. Bring it down to rest. Take time to flow. If there's another pose your body is craving, you might use this time to visit that shape too. No rushing, no hurrying. And then when you're ready, we'll find our way back to meet in downward facing dog. If you're coming up from the mat, you might use cow with toes curled under, shifting and lifting hips. And take a pause to pedal in. And then when you're ready, we'll step, walk, or hop to the top of the mat. Relax the neck. Gentle nod yes or slow shake no. Exhale, bend the knees, shift the hips back behind. Inhale to your chair, Utkatasana. And then in this chair, we might be a little playful and try floating the foot and then maybe resting the ankle on the other thigh. A little pigeon in chair. And if we find it on one side, we might explore and see if that can happen on side two. And then bringing both feet to the mat. Use the inhale to take it tall. Exhale, flying into Tadasana. And take any shakes or wiggles you need when you get here. And then we'll give the shoulders a little bit of attention. Then focusing on spine and hips have gotten some movement, but let's give the shoulders a little attention. And taking the hands behind the back, clasping if possible or comfortable. If not, maybe just reaching toward the opposite elbow. And then if you can clasp, we'll shift the hands over to one side, roll the shoulder and elbow back. Gently send the hands to side two, rolling the shoulder and elbow back. And if you're holding elbows, you can do the same thing. You'll shift the elbows to one side and then see if you can roll that shoulder back. Or we'll repeat this with the hands. And you can release, moving to side two, rolling the shoulder and elbow back. One more time, each side. This can be helpful if you've been doing a lot of work in front of you. You might have been doing some gardening or some canning if you're here in Maine and joining us live. And then release the arms down, give them a little shake. See if they need a shrug. And then let's explore the figure four shape from a little different angle. We'll start off by anchoring weight into your right foot. I'll be your mirror here. Loading the left knee. And then having the leg straight first. If we took that ankle toward the thigh, how would that work? And then maybe if we're comfy, maybe we're gonna rest a hand on a wall or on a chair. Maybe we'll try to bend that right knee, sinking in. And we can stay here, this is plenty. Or for the fun of it, you might try hinging at the hips, taking the fingertips to the mat. That can make it easier to balance if you can touch down. If you have a block, this is a great time to find your block. And then when you're ready, bending the knee a little more. Use the inhale to take belly button to spine, lifting the back tall. Lengthen the fingertips up. And I'd invite you to cross the leg over. As you exhale, find a little side bend. Inhale, take this to center. Exhale, find a little side bend. Inhale, tall. Exhale, crescent moon with revolved legs. Inhale, tall. Exhale, up and over. We'll draw this one more each way. Maybe bottom hand helps lengthen the top arm. Exhale, up and over. And when you find center, hinge at the hips, swan dive it down. Forward bend with revolved legs. And gentle nod yes or slow shake no. As you exhale, bend the knees, settle the hips back behind. Maybe you keep those left toes down, or maybe you start to see if that left foot could wrap toward the right leg. Maybe we inhale, lifting the spine. We might play a little with our eagle pose. Maybe right arm on bottom, left on top. Wrapping the palms. Maybe floating the elbows. Breathing into the shape. Again, side view of eagle. And then as you inhale, draw it tall. Exhale, unwind. Take a little shake when you find Tadasana. Check out where the weight is in your feet now. Notice if all four corners are anchored. And what you might notice, if your knees tend to move inward a little bit, like mine do, oftentimes the outer edges of my feet aren't really connected. But if I connect through them, that helps the knees move into alignment too. And then when you find that nice strong mountain, let's explore side two. Now settle weight to the left. Again, I'll be your mirror. Floating the right knee. And maybe thinking of taking that ankle toward the thigh. Now we might stay put here. Or we might play with bending the knee. Remembering hands could be on a wall or a chair. I wish I had one handy. Or we can stay right here. Sometimes called standing pigeon. Or you're welcome to explore that hinge from the hips to see if the fingertips might find the mat. Or your block, if your block is nearby. Can you breathe when you're here? And when you exhale, bending the knee, starting to float this back up, belly button supporting the spine as you do. See about sending that right foot out to the mat. Inhale it tall as the feet land. Exhale, reach it up and over. Inhale, draw this tall. Exhale, up and over. Inhale, tall. Maybe this time, instead of bottom hand taking the top wrist, top hand lengthens the bottom arm. Inhale, tall. Maybe top arm lengthens the bottom arm. One more each way. Then when you find center, exhale, hinge from the hips, swan dive it down, revolved leg forward bend. Bending the knees as much as you need. Relax the neck, gentle nod yes or slow shake no. As you exhale, bend the knees, settle the hips back behind. Inhale toward revolved leg chair. And then your choice, maybe we keep the foot down or maybe we float the right foot and it wraps around. And if it doesn't wrap, it can rest wherever it's comfy. Maybe we settle left arm on bottom, right on top. Maybe we breathe. Maybe we lift. Holding eagle pose or Garudasana. When you find the next inhale, reach it tall, release the arms, release the legs, back to mountain. See what you need, maybe a shake, maybe a gentle fist to tap around the shoulders, the hips, anywhere that feels a little tired or strained. And then anchor the feet back down once more. We're getting ready to transition away from our standing poses now. So noticing in this last upright Tadasana, just how things feel. Maybe noticing what's different from when you started this class. Use your inhale to send the fingertips tall. Exhale, hinge from the hips, one leg forward, forward bend. Relax the neck, gentle nod yes or slow shake no. Bend the knees, frame the feet. Big step back, right foot. Big step back, left foot. A breath in high plank. Exhale, shift and lift, downward facing dog. Pedal in, bend one knee and the other. Yogi's choice. Is your body ready to rest at this point? Maybe find child pose. You might take the time for 3 vinyasa flows. Or if there's anything else you can tell your body would like now. Again, maybe that's time to stretch the wrists. Maybe that's time to grab a sip of water. Just honoring what your body needs in this moment. Taking your time, supporting either your movement and your flow with your breath, or allowing the breath, especially the exhales, to deepen your rest. When you're ready, no rush, no hurry. We'll start to make our way toward a seated shape. And when you find your seat, we'll take a moment. You might be tucking your blanket or your block under the hips so that this is a comfier seat. Often when we lift the hips a little higher than the knees, that helps free up the low back. And when you find your comfy seat, I'd invite you first just to notice the parts of you that are connected to the mat. Hopefully you have 3 points of contact. Maybe your hips count as one, and then each knee counts as another. And just notice, is your weight a little more toward one side than the other? If your legs are crossed, try switching the cross of the legs and notice if the weight's still toward that same side. And then from seated, we'll bring a little attention to the neck. So when you exhale, take an ear toward the shoulder. You might let that opposite shoulder get heavy. Inhale towards center. Exhale, same side again, ear toward the shoulder. And if you'd like to add on, you might take the chin toward the shoulder. Then ear toward the shoulder. And inhale to center. Once more to this side. Exhaling over. And if it's comfy, maybe very slowly, very gently, chin toward the shoulder. Again, listening to your body, maybe chin also lifts up a little. And ear toward shoulder. And we'll inhale to center. Take a pause, notice if anything needs a little shrug or shift. And check in with your points of support here on the mat. See if you can feel 3 points of contact. And then we'll see about the neck on side 2. Exhaling, ear towards shoulder. Inhale back towards center. Exhale, ear towards shoulder. Maybe chin towards shoulder. And ear towards shoulder. And center. One more, exhale, ear towards shoulder. Maybe chin toward shoulder. Maybe chin starts to point up toward the ceiling if that's comfy. Then ear toward shoulder. And inhaling back towards center. See if anything else needs a shrug or a shift. And with all that focus up here in the neck and the shoulders, can you tune back into the hips and the knees? Or the hips and the back of the legs if your legs are straight. Just noticing 3 points of support. And then when you're ready, we can go ahead and slide the block out from underneath. And we'll shift the legs to your choice. Either bottoms of the feet together for Baddha Konasana, or we might send the legs out long for our dragonfly pose. And we might make this a little variation of a turtle pose or tortoise pose today. Your choice here. This hand position works with both shapes. We'll start by sending the fingertips back behind us. Your legs can be in either shape, wherever they feel like they want to work today. Inhale, lift the collarbones up. You might take a look up if it's comfy, or chin to chest. And then when you inhale, go ahead and press the spine tall. The fingertips might reach up. Exhale, hinge from the hips, folding here. And just noticing as you fold how things feel. Now your choice, it's fine again to back this off. You might stay in this shape with hands back. Or if the legs are long, to move toward turtle or tortoise pose, we're going to slide the legs in under the hands and rather under the legs. And that can help us with our hinge. We want to make sure we don't pull on the back. Belly button stays in to support the spine, and that hinge is coming from the hips foremost. Or if you're here in Baddha Konasana, you can do the same thing by tucking the arms in underneath the shins. It'll be a little different shape. In kids yoga, sometimes they call this the clam shape. You can close the clamshell or open the clamshell. So your choice, you might be here. You can explore both. One thing that's kind of fun to try for a transition is to take Baddha Konasana with the forearms tucked under, and then to start to slide the legs toward that dragonfly shape with the arms just leaving them underneath. That can be interesting to explore. Take your time here, being kind to your body as you do. And then whichever shape you're in, see if you can notice at least 3 points of contact with the mat. So dragonfly, if you don't have the arms down, could be heels and hips. Could be hips and hands. Hips and forearms. The feet might be a 4th point. Just noticing where you connect to the mat. And then when you're ready, gently releasing. We'll make our way back towards center, bending the knees. Hands can move back behind. We'll take a moment to gently rock the legs a little side to side. Noticing your breath. And then yogi's choice. We're getting ready to make our way to the back on the mat. So if you're ready to rest, you might make your way down and find some constructive rest. If you're craving a little core challenge, you might remember our reclined eagle pose, Supta Garudasana we played with on Tuesday. You're welcome to revisit that, or we can play a little bit with another variation that mixes in with both pose. So just a reminder, reclined eagle is we're down on the back, we cross one leg over, we take the opposite arm on bottom, and then we're moving between curling up And then lengthening the arms, lengthening the legs, trying not to let them touch, and curling up. So you're welcome to play there. Or, as you might have guessed it, you can play a little with eagle and boat. And this is a little funky, but feel free to try. We'll start with the feet on the mat, crossing one leg over the other, maybe wrapping if you like. Whichever leg is on top, we're gonna put the opposite elbow on bottom for this version. And then we'll just play with finding boat in this eagle shape. The hardest part is probably to keep the back long. We wanna try not to round in our boat. We wanna try to keep a long back. And just playing and exploring. And then remembering that we have a side two as well, whether we're reclined or playing with this in boat pose. Just keeping the spine long if you are playing in boat. It's okay to curl if you're on the mat, on your back on the mat rather. Can you breathe? And then when you're ready, we'll gently make our way down to our backs on the mat. Take a moment to draw the knees in close, maybe rocking a little side to side. As much as I love starting class off on the back, sometimes when we haven't been down to the back until the end of class, it feels like you've really earned the right to rest. And then yogi's choice here. Again, if you're ready to just rest, bring feet to the mat, find constructive rest. If you're up for a little twist, we'll take a shape we often use as a warm-up, dog straps twist. Bending the knees, resting hands on opposite elbows, taking the elbows to one side, the knees to the other. Inhale towards center, exhale to side two. And taking your time, no rush, no hurry. They say this movement helps relieve agitation, aggravation. So it's possible we might be doing this a lot between now and November. No rush, no hurry. When you're ready, when you find center, and take a little pause, and if it's comfortable, we'll float the elbows down by the ribs. Maybe bringing the heels a little closer. We don't always have to tuck them all the way to the hip, depending on your anatomy. And as you inhale, press and anchor, float the hips toward bridge. We might walk the shoulder blades in closer together. We can stay here, or we might connect the hands behind the back, anchoring pinkies toward the mat. And you breathe when you're here. If you'd like to visit figure four bridge, you might send a heel up. And then rest an ankle on the other thigh. Trying to keep the hips lifted and level. You might play with that on side two. Heel reaches high. And then ankle finds thigh. And take your time, no rush. You can stay in bridge a bit longer if you like. You might float the hips to the mat and tuck things back in. Preparing to move to restorative next. Constructive resting pose is always an option. Or if you have your block and or your blanket nearby, you might explore moving toward legs up the wall. Now your choice, if you have a real wall, you can send your legs up the real wall. Or you might use the blanket or the block under the hips just to get a little lift so that the heels float almost effortlessly here. You don't have to have anything under the hips, but it can take a little pressure off. You might give the feet a little flex and point. You might give the hands a little flex and bend. And they say that helps boost our lymphatic system by supporting lymph drainage. The lymph system is part of our immune system, but that does give us a little boost. And you can stay here as long as you like, or when you're ready, you might find constructive rest. You can keep the blanket in place, or you might slide it out to the side. And taking these last few minutes of practice and to settle in. Our practice today started with a good amount of movement. So notice if you're able to settle into stillness here. And you might notice if one of those things was more welcome than the other, or if you're able to embrace both movement and stillness. And if your shape that you're in feels great, you can stay put just like this. Or at any point, you might start to move toward your Shavasana, lengthening the legs, turning the palms up. And can you breathe when you find that shape? And if Shavasana isn't comfortable with long legs, let the knees bend. And these last few minutes of practice are time to integrate all the movement, all the work, internal, physical, mental. So see if you can set yourself up to be as comfortable as possible. And then allow yourself permission to rest. If you are able to take a long Shavasana today, feel free to stay put and ignore me. Or if you're ready to bring motion back, maybe start wiggling the toes or stretching out through the hands. And find what might like to reach and lengthen, or to bend and draw in close. Maybe rocking, noticing your breath. Maybe making our way over to one side or the other. And then inhale, pressing back up towards seated. And grounding down to your mat. As you lift up tall through the crown. Use an inhale to send the fingertips up tall. And exhale to settle hands toward the heart. Thank you for taking the time to practice today. It's such a pleasure to practice with you. Namaste.